I just love that he kept on playing. It was a tough night for him, obviously. Him and Miggy just keep on playing. And Peacock's out there making pitches against those guys. And Miggy goes down and on a 2-strike slider and stays on it and rides it out to set it up. And then Glaber puts on a really, really good at bat. But I'm just proud of those guys for just continuing to play, continuing to turn the page, make a couple mistakes, move on. And they came up big.
Where do you think that attitude comes from? The forget about that, move on to the next pitch?
I think it's part of just who they are. I think it's part of just, their journey to get here, their journey through the minor leagues, and a lot of good people have impacted them. And, you can see it in the way they are. They're very consistent in the way they go about things, and just love to see them continue to fight through a couple of mistakes.
You talk about impacting the game. Brett Gardner did that in a big way today as well. And really, since early May, he's been very successful offensively. What's been the difference with him at the plate?
I felt all along, I think when you guys asked me a while ago, I felt like he was close. I felt like some of the balls he was hitting well, he was just hitting on the ground a little too much. But I don't think a ton has changed other than he's finding some holes now. He started to impact the ball. We've seen some more extra base hits from him, but at bat quality, I think it's been there all along. And so I just felt like with him, it was a matter of time based on what we were seeing. And, he's been great for us.
You mentioned some of the miscues earlier. 5 errors tonight for your team against a team of the caliber of the Houston Astros. Would you have ever imagined that you'd walk out of here with a win?
No, and I think you could even say there might have been not necessarily more errors, but just plays we couldn't make that, when you're playing a really good team, a world championship team like the Astros, it's tough to overcome that. And so for a while there, it was a little bit frustrating. The thing that really excited me all night was our at-bat quality against Morton. And I thought we made him work really hard. I thought we put together a lot of good at-bats against him. And these guys just continue to peck away, even when it doesn't look great. And just really proud of the just continued fight that I always see in these guys.
Randy to the left.
You talk about Glaber and Andujar playing after the errors. Is that something that's typically tough to do in your mind, to when you're a young kid and you make errors like that, to forget about it?
Can be. I mean, it can be. But I think with both of those guys, they play the game with a lot of confidence, and for good reason. They're really good players, and I think they understand that. And you'll hear them say all the time, they've worked very hard to be here and to be in the position to be here and impact our club, and that's what they've done. And it just, the game's not always easy, and the game's you're gonna take your lumps at times. And to see, young players go through those failures, successes, and have it not impact the rest of your game, that gets me excited.
All the way in the back, Ron.
When Chapman's having struggles there, throws the wild pitch, and then the second one hits the backstop and bounces.
We drew that up. We saw Baltimore do that to us early in the season, and we said, there's a spot right back there that... No, I'm sorry.
Is that also for Gary, given another tough night behind the plate defensively, and then to just stay in mentally and get that ball and make that throw, part of that?
Yeah, I thought it was a really heads-up play by Gary. He's seen enough balls kind of ricochet off there, and it actually was a good play by Andujar too, because we were actually eating the ball in that situation. Had they done a traditional steal there with 2 outs, so the awareness of Miggy to get there and cover, I think Gary, seeing enough here, put himself in a really good position to kind of receive that ricochet and throw a bullet to third. So, yeah, that was obviously a big play for us.
Dan and Clapp.
I know he obviously had some defensive lapses behind him, but another kind of shaky outing from CeCe is, did you see Anything out of him that, I know before the game you said he looked okay for most of the previous 4 starts, but did you see anything
I
that
thought he
bad?
was back tonight. I thought he threw the ball really well. I even talked to him before he went in, and he felt the same way. Stuff-wise, he was back. In Texas, he didn't have it. I mean, the stuff was down. I mean, you could see from the side that stuff just wasn't there. He couldn't get his breaking ball in for a strike. I thought he was back tonight. He made the one mistake in the middle of the plate on the home run early, on a cutter that stayed on the middle. But I thought his cutter was good. The velocity was good. I thought he threw some good changeups and some backdoor sliders in there. I just didn't think we caught the ball real well behind him, and that kind of added up the pitches on him. So it looked like not a great outing, but I thought I was encouraged with. I thought it was a good bounce back for him, just physically speaking. I thought he threw the ball real well, so I was actually encouraged, and I think he was too.
Clap to your right.
Aaron, are you going to keep Glaber in the number 9 spot? I mean, do you feel like he just feels more comfortable there, perhaps?
Well, I mean, he's been there, so I think he's just been comfortable because he's a good player.
Well, as opposed to, in the middle of the order.
Right. As I said, that's kind of fluid. I mean, I didn't think anything changed at bat-wise yesterday in the 5-hole. He's facing Justin Verlander, and I think he had our only hit for a while, and I thought his at-bats against Verlander, where he hit the ball to right, just missed the ball, I had no issue with that. So I don't have any apprehension on moving him, because I think he's a good hitter, and I think he'll be comfortable wherever we put him, and just kind of depends on how we match things up. But I do like him in the 9-hole because of the length of our lineup and the quality of our hitters, and especially the top of our order, especially with Judgy hitting second, to have another guy that's getting on base a lot and doing damage at the bottom, I think's helpful. But I wouldn't hesitate to move him if I feel like the matchup calls for it.
Anyone else? Harp, last question.
I know we talk about his poise a lot, but it looked like he was frustrated in that at bat. Glaber with the one pitch, question it with the umpire.
Mm-hmm.
Say something about him these days. Doesn't get frustrated and goes the other way with a pitch. That's obviously not trying to do too much with it.
You can feel him really just kind of slow it down and control the moment, and that's something that stood out to me about him since he's got here, really. And again, Peacock's making pitches against him, and to be spoiled, long at bat, where he's on pitches, where Peacock's executing. It's just a really, really mature at bat from a good player, and there's no question he got a little emotional there, reacted, but snapped right out of it and controlled the moment. And you've got to be able to do that, because sometimes you're going to react, and you've got to be able to rein it in a hurry if you're going to be an elite player.